Once upon a time, nestled in a valley, lay a small town named Meadow Creek. Here lived a young man named Ethan, just 22 years old. Ethan possessed kind brown eyes that reflected a gentle soul and hair as black as a raven's wing. Every single day, he toiled relentlessly to support his family. His father was bedridden with a persistent illness, and his mother's age prevented her from working the land. Thus, the weight of their survival rested squarely on Ethan's young shoulders. He worked from the first light of dawn until the last ray of sunset, tending to their small plot of land and selling its modest harvest at the town market. Life was a constant struggle, yet Ethan's spirit never faltered. Though his pockets were empty, his heart brimmed with hope. He always wore a warm smile and was quick to lend a hand to anyone in need. In that same town, in a grand estate overlooking the valley, lived a young woman named Clara. At 20 years old, she had long, golden hair that cascaded down her back and eyes the color of the summer sky. Clara was born into immense wealth. Her family owned vast stretches of farmland and the most beautiful house in Meadow Creek. Her father, Mr. Thompson, was the most influential man in the region. Clara wanted for nothing. She had exquisite clothes, fine food, and a staff of servants to attend to her every whim. Yet, despite this abundance, a profound emptiness echoed in her heart. She yearned for something more than material possessions. She longed for genuine affection, for kindness, and for a connection with someone who saw her, not her family's fortune. One bright, sun-drenched morning, Ethan was arranging his vegetables at the market. He carefully stacked the vibrant carrots, plump tomatoes, and shiny apples on his simple wooden stall. Clara, on an errand to purchase fruit, wandered through the bustling market. Her eyes fell upon Ethan's stall. She paused, observing the meticulous care with which he worked. She noticed his gentle smile and the sincere kindness in his eyes. Ethan greeted her with a respectful nod. "Good morning," Clara said, her voice soft. "May I buy some of your apples?" Ethan's smile widened. "Of course, they are the freshest from our tree." As Clara accepted the apples, their hands briefly touched, and from that day forward, a new routine began. Every morning, Clara would visit the market with a small basket, always making her way to Ethan's stall. Their conversations started simply, revolving around fruits and vegetables. Soon they were discussing the weather, the goings-on in town, and eventually their own lives and dreams. "One day," Ethan confessed, "I dream of owning my own little shop, a place where I can sell fresh food and give my family a better life." Clara, in turn, shared her own desire. "I want to help people," she said, "not just the wealthy. I want to contribute to the lives of the less fortunate, to children, to families like yours." Day by day, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. They shared laughter, stories, and the quiet joy of seeing each other. Inevitably, they fell in love. One evening, as they sat by the tranquil river, the sky ablaze with the colors of the setting sun, Ethan turned to Clara. "Clara," he began, his voice filled with emotion, "I love you. You are the kindest, most wonderful person I have ever known. I have nothing of material value to offer you, but my heart is entirely yours." A radiant smile lit up Clara's face. "I love you too, Ethan. You are strong, honest, and you have a beautiful soul." They held hands, their hearts united, dreaming of a future together. However, their happiness was destined to be challenged. When Clara's father, Mr. Thompson, learned of their romance, he was consumed by rage. "You cannot be with that boy," he thundered. "He is a pauper, he has nothing, he is not worthy of you." Clara, tears streaming down her face, pleaded with him. "Father, I love him. Ethan is a good man, he is hardworking and has a kind heart." But Mr. Thompson's pride was unyielding. "If you marry him," he declared, "you will no longer be my daughter." Heartbroken, Clara ran to Ethan and told him everything. Ethan listened in silence, his expression shadowed with sorrow. "Clara," he said softly, his voice heavy, "I love you more than anything, but I cannot bear the thought of your life being filled with pain because of me. Perhaps we should not be together." Clara's tears flowed freely. "No, Ethan, I want to be with you no matter the cost." But Mr. Thompson was a man of immense pride and anger. He used his influence to turn the town against Ethan. He instructed all the villagers not to buy from Ethan's stall. "Do not help that boy," he commanded. "He is trying to steal my daughter." Obediently, the villagers stopped buying Ethan's vegetables. His stall stood empty, his income vanished, and his family began to starve. His father's health deteriorated rapidly, and the medicine he needed was now an impossible luxury. Ethan worked day and night, seeking loans, but every door was closed to him. Exhaustion etched lines onto his face, and his hands grew rough and sore. Clara witnessed all of this from her gilded cage, and her heart ached with every passing day. She confronted her father one last time. "Please, father," she begged, "let me be with Ethan. He is a good man." Mr. Thompson's response was cold and final. "No, you will marry a man of wealth, a man I have already chosen for you." "I don't love him," Clara cried. "You will do as I say," he roared, and he locked Clara in her room, a prisoner in her own home. Her window offered a view of the sky, but it was a sky she could no longer share with the man she loved. Each night was a torment of tears as she thought of Ethan, his smile, their shared dreams. Her heart felt as if it were shattering into a million pieces. Meanwhile, Ethan was on the verge of despair. His father was gravely ill, their savings were depleted, and his dream of a small shop seemed like a cruel, distant fantasy. One night, a ferocious storm descended upon Meadow Creek. Rain lashed down, the wind howled, and thunder cracked across the sky. Under the cover of the storm, Clara escaped her house. She ran through the deluge, her clothes soaked and her hair plastered to her face. She reached Ethan's humble cottage and pounded on the door. When Ethan opened it, he was stunned. "Clara, what are you doing here?" "I cannot live without you," she sobbed. "Let's run away together." Ethan hesitated, shaking his head. "I can't take care of you, Clara. I can't even feed my own family." She took his hand, her grip firm. "We will face everything together. I will help you. I will work. I don't care about money." "I care about you." Ethan looked into her eyes, seeing not a fragile, rich girl, but a woman of incredible strength and courage, drenched and shivering but resolute. He pulled her into a tight embrace. "You are so strong, Clara. I love you." And on that stormy night, they made a choice. They would leave Meadow Creek behind and forge a new life. With a small bag of belongings, they walked out into the storm. They had no destination, no plan, and no idea what the future held. But they had each other. And so, hand in hand, Ethan and Clara walked toward a new dawn. Ethan and Clara journeyed through the night, battling the fierce storm. Their clothes were soaked through, and the biting wind chilled them to the bone. They were exhausted but propelled forward by a shared determination. As morning broke, they left Meadow Creek far behind and arrived in a small, quiet town called Havenwood. It was a place far removed from their past, a blank slate. They had no money, no food, and no shelter, but they were rich in hope. "I will find work today," Ethan declared. "I'll do anything." Clara nodded. "And I will work too. We will build our life together." That very day, Ethan secured a job as a laborer, hauling heavy stones under the hot sun. The work was grueling, but he never uttered a word of complaint. Clara found a position as a maid in a small inn, where she scrubbed floors, washed linens, and helped in the kitchen. Her hands, once soft and delicate, became calloused, but her spirit remained gentle and unbroken. Every evening they would meet under an old oak tree by the river. They would share a loaf of bread, exchange weary smiles, and speak of the future. Some days were incredibly difficult. There were times they went to bed hungry, and some nights they had to sleep under the stars. Yet, they never gave up on each other or their dream. One evening, Ethan said, "I'm saving every coin I can, slowly but surely. One day I will open that small shop I've always dreamed of." Clara's eyes sparkled. "And I will help you run it. We will be partners just as we are in everything." Years passed. With each passing day, their small savings grew. Ethan worked with a relentless drive, learning new skills, how to bargain, and how to build relationships with people. Clara honed her skills in cooking and sewing, and her kind demeanor made her a favorite among the inn's guests. Finally, one bright morning, the day arrived. Ethan rented a small space near the town market. It was a humble wooden shack, but to them, it was a palace. Clara cleaned and decorated it, hanging a small, hand-painted sign that read Ethan's Fresh Goods. They sold fresh vegetables, fruits, tea, and Clara's homemade pies and snacks. The people of Havenwood were drawn to them. They came to buy from the honest man with the kind eyes and the smiling woman with the warm heart. Their business began to grow. They earned enough to afford simple clothes, warm blankets, and nourishing food. Their faces lost their weary look, replaced by the glow of love and contentment. Back in Meadow Creek, word of their success reached Mr. Thompson. A traveling merchant told him, "Sir, your daughter Clara and that young man, Ethan, they run a small but thriving shop in Havenwood. They are well respected." At first, a familiar anger stirred in Mr. Thompson, but as the days passed, the anger faded, replaced by a profound sadness. He sat alone in his vast, empty mansion, remembering his daughter's tear-streaked face. He thought of her courage and her unwavering love. Slowly, a change began to stir within his hardened heart. "I was wrong," he whispered to the silence. "I wanted her to marry for money, but she chose love, and she was right." One day, Mr. Thompson traveled to Havenwood. He walked through the market until he found the little shop. He saw Clara behind the counter, smiling as she gave a small child a piece of fruit for free. He saw Ethan carefully mending a basket for an elderly woman. Mr. Thompson stepped forward. "Clara," he said, his voice quiet. She looked up and her eyes widened in disbelief. "Father," he nodded slowly. "Yes, I came to see you. And to tell you I was wrong." Tears welled in Clara's eyes as she ran from behind the counter and embraced him. "I forgive you," she whispered. "I've missed you so much." Mr. Thompson then turned to Ethan. "And you are a good man. Thank you for taking care of my daughter." Ethan smiled warmly. "Thank you for accepting us." From that day on, Mr. Thompson became a regular visitor. He didn't bring them gold or lavish gifts. He brought them his love and his support. Life for Ethan and Clara was never one of great wealth. They continued to work hard every day, but they faced every challenge together. When one was tired, the other provided strength. When one was sad, the other offered comfort. They never forgot the hungry nights, the cold, or the pain of their past. But they also never forgot the incredible power of love and perseverance. The people of Havenwood began to tell their story. They were not wealthy people, the storytellers would say, but their hearts were richer than any king's. Children looked up to them, and young couples sought their advice. And Ethan and Clara always shared the same simple wisdom. Money is not what matters most. A kind heart, a strong will, and a love that never falters. These are the things that build a truly beautiful life. And so, Ethan and Clara lived a simple but profoundly happy life. Their shop flourished, their hearts remained gentle, and their story became a beacon of hope for all who heard it, a timeless testament that true love is always stronger than gold or power.